Ratified in late December 1997, the HTML 4.0 standard continues the development of the HTML environment. Many of the changes are incremental, and in fact, it may seem that more is being dropped from the standard than is being added. One of the big additions is the inclusion of a standard for the application of styles known as Cascading Style Sheets, CSS. CSS is designed to provide more control over page elements, thereby providing the author with greater flexibility in page layout and greater confidence that those pages will be displayed as designed. Another goal of the new standard is to establish elements and attributes that allow for older or text-based browsers to display the contents of page designed with all the most modern features. This becomes most important when trying to create browsers designed to offer accessibility features such as reading pages through a voice synthesizer, for example. If page elements can't be rendered properly or even fail to be interpreted at all, then content and users are lost. HTML 4.0 does deprecate a number of elements and attributes. Deprecated elements are likely to still be supported by browsers for the purpose of compatibility, but the HTML community is being warned that these elements will be dropped from future standards. The U underline tag is an example of one that was deprecated very early in the standards process. Many of the attributes that control what we have called style, align, and font, just to name two, have been deprecated in favor of style definitions as part of the Cascading Style Sheets, CSS. Even the BG color attribute for the body tag has been deprecated in favor of a style definition instead. You may still use these elements for the foreseeable future, but you may find style definitions a superior choice. You will learn much more about CSS later in this course. A number of new elements have been introduced in the HTML 4.0 standard. Most add some new functionality to existing HTML elements, like tables and forms. With the exception of div and span, the following elements are not supported by Netscape browsers up to and including Navigator 4.04. They are supported by Internet Explorer 4. There are some new elements which have been added to the class of elements that control the formatting of the document. One of these is the style tag, designed as a container for style definitions. It appears in the head tag and provides information for the interpretation and display of body elements. Another is the script tag, which allows the inclusion of small programs in one of the scripting languages that can be interpreted by the browsers, generally JavaScript or VBScript. Knowledgeable web authors have been using the script tag for some time, but with HTML 4.0, it became a part of the standard. You will work with this tag extensively in JavaScript and DHTML. Also introduced are two tags designed to allow for the subdivision of the body of a document. The div tag is used to declare a separate section of a document. Any tag that can appear in the body tag can appear inside the div tag, such as the p, paragraph tag, all the physical and logical style tags, the img tag, table tags, or form tags. The elements inside the div tag can inherit their characteristics from the rest of the document, for example, the background color. However, the div section can have its own background color, font family, or other attributes, if so defined. The span tag is similar to the div tag in that objects inside the span tag can be assigned different attributes from the surrounding document. However, the span tag is designed principally to separate words or blocks of text. Therefore, other tags do not appear within a span tag. The span tag can appear inside of other tags such as the div tag, giving you control all the way down to a single letter if you wish. This example would create a large letter T to begin this paragraph. The result is like this. These two new elements become much more important when applied as part of CSS or dynamic HTML applications. A number of additions have been made to the table elements, principally to allow more control over their appearance. First, new tags have been introduced to better segment a table. T-head, T-body, and T-foot are probably self-explanatory. You may include as many T-body sections as you wish in a table. In this way, you can create groupings in the rows of data, adding separate background colors to identify various blocks of data. Here's an example. You may notice that the T-foot is not at the end of the table definition. T-head and T-foot will be placed properly by the browser without regard to their placement in the HTML source. However, the T-body elements will be displayed in the order of appearance in the HTML source. Complementing these new tags are the COL group and COL tags. As the name implies, COL group allows you to group columns together, again allowing for the specification of attributes for multiple columns. COL allows individual columns to be addressed. As such, they correspond to the T-head, T-body, and T-foot, and when combined, they provide a way to create groups of either rows or columns. Here's an example of a COL group tag. In the above example, the table has 5 columns divided into 2 groups. The first group includes 3 columns. The second contains 2. Note that the width for each column in the grouping is specified. 0 asterisk means the browser will use the minimum possible width for that column. To take advantage of these new table elements, new attributes have been created to control the appearance of cell borders. Frame addresses the border of the individual cell and of the table itself. Rules sets the appearance of borders between rows, columns, and groups. Frame and rules are defined as part of the table tag. In this example, the table would have a complete border and rules between the COL groups and between the T-head, T-body, and T-foot groups. To set a wider border, the border equal to hash of pixels still applies, where hash is a number. The width of rules is set with the cell spacing attribute. The frame values are as follows. The rules values are as follows. A number of form elements and attributes have been added to provide greater functionality to forms. For instance, field set and legend provide a way for you to group form elements. The label tag permits specific text to be associated with an input type. It also allows you to assign a keyboard command to an input type. Also, a new button element uses normal HTML elements to create its appearance, allowing you to create custom form buttons from your GIFs or JPEGs, for example. The field set and legend tags are very useful in providing organization to your forms and visual clues to your users. Appearing inside the form tag, the field set partitions your form with a box around the enclosed elements. You can even set the color of the text inside the field set to further distinguish these elements. The legend labels the field set for you. The label tag associates a text label with a form field. Its particular importance is in the association of a keyboard command to access a particular field. As shown in this example, a label tag is created enclosing the text name. Inside the label definition, the attribute for assigns this label to a field called name. Another attribute, access key, assigns the letter N to the field. When the user presses the Alter key and the N key, the focus moves to that field. The second line shows the ordinary input tag, which includes an ID attribute that identifies this field as name. The button tag permits the construction of custom buttons within a form. While button is defined as an input type with submit and reset, the behavior of the button element is different. It provides the 3D push button action. The type attribute of the button can be set to submit the entire form, and reset to reset the entire form. Otherwise, it is assumed that the button will trigger a script. Of interest to many authors is the capability to include standard HTML as part of the button tag. As you can see here, this permits the use of custom images for buttons and provides the button action. The object element is designed for extending HTML. The object element allows an author to download external data or programs into the current page, such as applets or multimedia objects. The long-term goal for the object element is to replace the applet img and embed elements with a single way to embed data. Part of the design goal of the object element is to ensure that it behaves consistently, known as a graceful degrading in browsers that do not support the element or possibly the object type or data. When a browser does not support the object element or a particular use of the element, the contents within the element are to be displayed. In the example above, the object to be displayed is named myfile.pretend of the type text/imaginary. If the browser can interpret an object of this type, it will be displayed. If not, the text which appears within the object tag will be displayed. Similar to the object element is the iframe element. In addition to the frame family, the iframe creates a container in a document for displaying other documents. You might think of it as a floating frame. It requires a src, which will identify the URL of the page to be displayed. You may even include a frameset document in an iframe. The iframe tag takes size attributes, width and height, and can also be aligned as you might with the img tag. As with the object tag, iframe encloses content which will be displayed if the tag is not supported by the user's browser, allowing you to provide a hyperlink to the requested page.